What is up, Anaheim? 3 players left remaining, and it's time to find out who the other finalist will be. It's going to be Trap versus viOLet for the decider match.
I like that there is the three races represented here in the top 3.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Is it going to be a Zerg or a Protoss to go on to face Bolt in the finals, the Captain America himself?
Well, I mean, it's kind of funny because obviously Polt is a good final boss to have. He won the last MLG tournament. He's been one of the most consistent performers, period. But Trap and viOLet really have to not think about Polt right now. They have to focus on the match at hand, especially viOLet, who's just coming off that, what if I had done this and that in those games versus Polt. There were a lot of opportunities to pull through, but now he has to focus on beating Trap, who has been wrecking Zergs, performed brilliantly against Scarlet in the last ZVP on this stage.
I'm glad you say that, because it's going to be very important for viOLet to right now forget about those games against Polt for the time being and think only in terms of Zerg versus Protoss.
Yeah, and you know, on the line is not just a championship at MLG. All the StarCraft events in the context of WCS means these players are trying to gobble up as many WCS points as they can. Now, I believe, Todd, what was it? Trap has around 400 points, or they both have around 400 WCS points, and the cutoff for top 16 is relatively close if they can get in one of the top spots. We see that 750 points for first, 500 for second. I mean, what is the cutoff for top 16 in WCS right now?
The 16th place right now is 1,450 points. So he will get very, very close to breaking that top 16 here. If he keeps on performing the way he's been in these tournaments, there is a good chance Trap could qualify for the big tournament at the end of the year, the finals.
I'm actually curious. Do you have more WCS points than these 2 players?
You know the answer. I have a few more than Trap.
Oh,
but it's about to change.
That's what I'm talking about. We have Todd, the commentator, on stage with a little bit more WCS points than Trap.
viOLet needs them too.
viOLet needs them as well. Do you have more than viOLet?
No. viOLet is in 60th position. I mean 63rd, and Trap is 71st. But they're going to score a lot of points here, and they're going to have more chances later on in next tournaments, in the next WCS season as well. In the current one, maybe a little bit too, to score more and more points to qualify for the World Finals.
Yeah, so I mean, there's so much riding on this. The WCS points, the spot in the championship, both these players had very, very different paths to get to this moment. There's a lot that could distract them, but they need to push it out of their mind. First map is going to be on Frost, the map that we saw Trap do that brilliant comeback on.
And I'm pretty sure that viOLet was watching that. You have to wonder, what is he thinking? Surely, when you watch Trap play the kind of game that he played against Scarlet, you have to be impressed on one hand, but on the other hand, you're probably telling yourself, if you're a Zerg player, I would have done this and this and this differently, and I would probably won against Trap. And I'm sure that's what viOLet's thinking. The thing is, he has a fairly different style than Scarlet does, and also we are probably going to see Trap play this very differently. I would be very surprised if he uses identical builds on each map here than he used before. Then again, against Scarlet earlier, he kind of used the same builds that he had used before against Hyun, but I think he realized that when he was playing Hyun, nobody was really watching, in particular his future opponents, because he knew that Scarlet was in game at the same time against Dongregul.
Yeah, viOLet's style is a lot more attack-focused. Scarlet's is a lot more clever defense, clever transition, get the big gas units up, and Trap's attacking works nicely against that, but I'm interested to see how 2 aggressive players in this matchup will fare against one another. In the top left-hand corner, coming out from Korea, the lone Protoss left in this tournament from IM, it is Trap. And in the top right, the lone Zerg left in this tournament. He doesn't do the dishes, but he'll cook the food. It is viOLet. Of course, referencing the fact that viOLet and Polt live together. viOLet cooks the food and Polt does the dishes.
And then they meet in the tournament's finals. Sounds like a healthy living.
Yeah, I know that Polt, if Polt loses, he'll angrily be cleaning the dishes afterwards to leave some specks. viOLet won't put in the tasty spices in the food.
He won't make it the way Polt likes it, certain dishes. Trap, I thought this was going to be a gateway expand. Still could be, but He's not really this nexus where you usually make a gateway, so I have to wonder, is he going to go for some kind of a forge in his main? Which, I guess, no, he's not making any buildings now. So this should be a nexus first, followed by a gateway. But hold on, we have a drone scout. If viOLet is planning to do a hatch block, and he sees that trap is here, he might start the hatchery on his natural before. Okay, no, he's not going to wait. If he had waited here...
there's the drone and the that is the most rewarding thing in StarCraft 2, period. When you're the Zerg and you block the guy from building the Nexus, you think that's what that feels like.
You know, viOLet had already started the hatchery at his natural. I feel like if he had waited here, maybe until he has scouted, and he had blocked that with a hatch, it would have been huge. Trap would have had to pull probes, make a forge maybe, but now he's going to steal one of the gases. This is another good thing that you can do against this build. That's going to force Trap to either stay on one gas or take another gas at his natural. But he's going to have to wait until the Nexus is up, till he can mine from it.
Yeah, I mean, the whole purpose of the build that we're seeing, obviously there's no forge for the defense. What is it that you're trying to pick up with Trap's build? You want to get the fast cybernetics core. With a fast cybernetics core, you can get a faster tech. You can do something like a Dark Templar rush, a Warp Gate rush. And with this gas being stolen, all those plans get foiled. And that is a great point you bring up. Trap now has to take the gas at his expansion. He has to transfer drones there. Who would really prefer not to do that?
viOLet played it so greedy. He not only made double hatch before pull, he also made a ton of drones. He's already up to 18 in total. He's not going to take a gas. And I feel like this is a little bit risky. Against somebody like Trap, he sees that there is no gas now. He could do something like we've been talking about many, many times with the Stalker pressure into more gateway aggression, possibly something like a blink. And we do see the second gas on the natural by Trap. He's not gonna bother with this one gas in his main. He didn't even make a Zealot, actually. You're supposed to at least make a single Zealot to deny vision, because viOLet right now, I guess he sees how many probes there are on minerals. He doesn't see the core, which was smart by Trap not to put in the range of that extractor here. And again, we see Trap's trademark build, which is going to be the quick target. But hold on, maybe for the first time, this might be spotted early on by viOLet's Overlord, which is right next to it. Everybody has not been ready so far against this. Hyun was not ready, Scarlet was not ready, and they lost a whole bunch of drones every time. Yeah,
I mean, again, you get the gateway early. It guarantees that you can get your follow-up tech faster than most Zergs are ready for. I mean, Air typically strikes a Zerg player at 7:30 or so, especially the big Phoenix plays. So most Zergs are thinking, yeah, I got some Queens, I'll position, and already it's going to be a chrono-boosted Oracle. I mean, this is such a fast pace.
It's funny how fast this target is. I mean, viOLet is not even sending his Overlord just yet, because usually you would have nothing special started at this time. And you know what? He needs to see it very soon, because you need to have Spores in position against this. You can then pull probes, make sure that you don't lose too many drones. Because if you just have a single Queen there defending, you're going to start losing drones, left and right, and that's not what you want. We've seen Trap's first Oracle kill something like 6 to 8 drones in the past. viOLet sees it. He needs to start Spores right now. I wonder if you realize how fast this is coming. Whoa. He's going to start a Spore in the main.
Love it. Spores do build very quickly, 30 seconds, but of course it only takes about 20 to 25 to get there. So Trap is going to cause quite a ruckus in the main in that little tiny period of time. And look at this answer, 6 gateways.
Oh, he's going to finish on time.
Oh, can he manage to get those down? That was a little faster of a reaction than I thought from viOLet.
Perfectly timed.
Boom! viOLet deflects the most important piece to this puzzle. Now viOLet is forced to get Zergling speed. He doesn't really have the funds to begin investing into roaches. He sees on the minimap, well, there's no invading probe, I see no invading pylon, but he still has to be extremely careful because Trap loves those gateway pressures.
That was sick. The Spore really literally finished at the last second here when that Oracle got in. Trap is very good with the Oracle control, by the way. Gonna catch a few units here and there, a few drones. He sees that the World Tron is on the way, nothing too funky here. This is still very standard as a Queen wants to do a one-on-one against the Mothership Core.
Who wins? You know, I know that was the first thing I tested when the Mothership Core was released, and I promptly forgot about it. So there was a little bit of tension there for me, Todd.
I think the Queen barely wins if they engage with full lead points. That's why usually you need to have a Zealot on the ground to attack. It might be the other way around, but usually anyway it never comes to that because you have a Spore in position, you have a second Queen nearby. At this point it was, I guess viOLet knew that he was never going to lose his Queen because Trap will pull back his Mothership Core, so he just didn't even bother. He knew he had a Spore right behind. And you know what? He's getting a bunch of Lings and Roaches already. I wonder if he wants to attack or if he's preparing for defense. We've seen Trap extremely aggressive before in this situation, but in this game, it's weird. He does not want to be very aggressive. He's moving out as a fake right now. Behind this, he's taking 2 Blink, +1, he's getting Robo. He's actually going to recall. Didn't really have to do that. I mean, there is no rush speed.
A slightly wasteful recall. You know, at this point in time, this is a juncture where we would typically see a Zerg player feel anxious. Most Zergs despise not having a layer done. All the big tools, especially Roach Speed, haven't even been started yet. Trap's still continuing to pick off a lot with that Oracle. It runs out of energy. Now in this spot though, viOLet is one of the best in the world at being on hatch tech in this
viOLet
matchup.
is behind on walkers. He has to make something happen here. I don't like those force fields. He trapped nothing here.
Yeah.
And his name is Trap, so you might as well.
Well, I mean, that's one of the best things about having an excess of Zerglings. With Roaches, you feel a little more comfortable trapping, but with Zerglings, you tend to want to keep them away from your Stalkers. So you throw down those force fields, the Zerglings won't deal damage, but then the Zerg army just pulls back. It's wasted energy.
viOLet has invested a lot into this, but it's not going all in either. He's droning up behind this. His lair is going to finish in a second. He's already going to get macro hatch. He made at least 1 Evo, with which he's getting missile attacks +1, but we already have the +2 starting for Trap. He's cutting pro production. So he's adding on that additional gateways. I think he goes for some kind of War Prism harassment here with some Zealots and Sentries. Maybe tries for a move at the ramp, and later on moves in for the kill with his huge army. Lots of Sentries that are going to be on full energy, and most of all, the +2 and some Immortals to reinforce.
Now this is an absolutely critical decision that we see out of viOLet. He's getting the Burrow upgrade. Typically you don't expect there to be Burrow used that often. That's okay, you'll get an Observer, it might be a little late. However...
the ramp. The ramp is going to be dropped. viOLet is perfectly ready. Actually, Zealots are going to be watching. There was a hole!
No! There's a hole in the ramp! That's so uncharacteristic for Trap.
viOLet is going to defend that very, very easily. A few Zealots will be saved here. A Spore, actually.
Spore calls like, I'm here to help.
Oh, that's opening a spot up for the Oracle, maybe to do some damage. The Oracle, which was forgot about on the bottom right-hand side of the map.
Yep, has 49 energy. Now keep in mind, even though it's so easy to get an Observer and for Trap to be just fine in this context, if he's just 10 seconds behind.
Trap, he had blocked an Immortal inside of his base. Now he canceled the pylon that he was making there, so he could leave the base with the Immortal, and he has no plan to take a third, and this is so smart by viOLet. Oh, actually, he's going to start a third. viOLet had the link there. He saw that there was no third base up until now. viOLet is already getting Tunneling Claws.
I like this play. I mean, you get the Burrow defensively, can sometimes be a blowout where you easily win. At the very least, it's a nice healing micro tactic for the Roaches. +3 is already incoming. Trap has decided he's not going to win this with a push. He has to go for the late game play. viOLet, though, has a lot of useless Roaches for the late game, so he's got to make use of them now. I love this Tunneling Claws choice.
Yeah, but Trap is playing this very interestingly. He usually always is aggressive, sometimes overly aggressive, and this time he's going to play defensively against the Roaches of his opponent. But viOLet has so much. He's maxed out here at the 13th minute, 130 army supply against 78.
This isn't as Zergling heavy a force as we typically see viOLet do. He gets right up in front of the face of all those units. The force fields can't even be used to snip off the front segments. It's got to be used to push the Roaches back. viOLet deals quite a lot of damage and has 32 more Zerglings incoming. It's Stefano style, it's Massling Roach, and soon enough, Tunneling Claws will join the party.
You know what? There is not that many sentries here. So I think that viOLet can keep on fighting.
Yeah.
Maybe trade cost effectively and maybe finish the game behind this. He's getting so many units.
Big drop in the main.
Use the Time Warp for nothing.
The Time Warp in the middle of nowhere. viOLet hitting the critical juncture. Now taking down a single gateway. That's going to still the production in the main base. We see the Zealots and the Zerglings. viOLet's microing against them reasonably well. There's that Tunneling Claws at the front.
The Observer, where is it?
It's
out of position, it's a little bit behind the army. That means some of those probes are going to start dying left and right for Trap, who's already on 48 probes against 64 drones. Those Roaches will die, but I don't think viOLet cares that much. There's a few Zealots inside of his base. The War Prism was killed, I believe, and we are fighting everywhere here.
Warp Prism down, Queen's having to be rebuilt. 3 in production, only 2 remaining. We look at the worker count. 39 workers remain. The second hatch, the critical macro hatch. viOLet needs to keep that main hatch alive. It looks like he's going to do it. The third now is a big target for viOLet. He's done tons of damage in the main base, saving the hatch. He killed so many probes. He killed 30 probes. That means Trap is on 27 probes against 62 drones.
I feel like viOLet is going to be in such a great position now. How do you build a strong army from there as a Protoss? I mean, you need to rebuild Probe. We see Trap is chrono boosting out as many of those as he can. He wants to get Colossi at this point. He knows that viOLet is still on layer tech. If he was able to get 2 or 3 Colossi out with the thermal lens, he will be in great shape. Those roaches will be executed here, but Trap nonetheless is still behind.
Yeah, while all this was going on, viOLet still has continued to build a lot of roaches, still has 25 on the field, and now has switched over to Hydralisks. Sees no Colossus, sees no reason not to get Hydras, and he's going to be able to storm in very quickly. You know, that range first says to me, I have no intention of needing speed, I'm not retreating, I want to be able to shoot over force fields.
Trap's army is very, very scary right now. He has 82 army supply against 96. Those Hydralisks by viOLet mean that if he was to be attacked by just Stalkers, Immortals, and Sentries, he will do fairly well against them. And at this point, I feel like viOLet knows that this is a possibility. He's going to see Trap immediately move to the middle of the map and gear up for an attack. And he's ready. You know what? He's getting only units. Groove Spines is going to finish in a second. Trap does not even bother trying to make a single Colossus.
Ooh, it's going to be very difficult. It's going to come all down to the force fields. There are not that many Stalkers in that force. We normally see 30 or 40 at this stage in the game. We see 19, and here comes the Zerg forces. Sentries at the front. Oh no! The first round of force fields repel some of the units, but we're seeing the huge sweep. 22 Lings in production, more Hydras, more everything. True Swarm style Zerg. viOLet is crushing in mid. And as we see, the remaining forces the Roach Quattro at the third base of Trap.
The Fantastic Four.
The 4 horsemen of the Roach Apocalypse up at the top side. There's going to be no way that base is going to stay alive. Trap knows it. It's GG. viOLet makes it look easy.
Very, very good hold here by viOLet. I was a little bit scared when I saw Trap's game plan here. He was playing it a lot more defensively than usual, and I thought it was going to work to his advantage, but I guess he just didn't have enough, and the micro wasn't that great, to be honest. The force fields were failed here and there. He wasted a time warp on nothing. He time warped his own army. I mean, if time warp was working on his own units, he would have kind of essentially messed himself up.
Yeah, he just subtracted 100 energy out of nowhere. And if you look at the way that viOLet is playing, it's the exact opposite of every other Zerg. Every other Zerg is thinking, how do I get my layer up? Can I get my layer yet? I want to get my layer up. And it's always that battle to get to that point. And viOLet is very calm, staying at hatch tech, building way more units than most players would, building the layer far, far, far later. And then all of a sudden, once that roach speed kicks in, there's all these additional roaches that were built at the start of the game. There's an earlier macro hatch, and I think that the biggest signal of viOLet's style is how reserved Trap's positioning is. Trap stayed back home at his own base almost the whole game.
Do you think that Trap tried for the same build one time too much with the fast Oracle? He's done well with it before, but if you kind of notice he's going to come, you scout for it on time, and I mean, those spores literally finished as the Oracle got into the middle line, and at first, he'd killed 0 drone after using the first spell for the name, you know, where you kill the drones with?
Pulsar Beam.
Yes, which cost 25 energy.
Yes.
He killed nothing with that. He had to pull back. He lost some shields. He had to wait until finally mistakes started being made by viOLet with the drones being transferred on top of that. And he killed some drones here and there. But compared to the previous games, there was really not much damage that was done here.
And I mean, that means that with the map choice going to Trap, he's going to have to select a map that he thinks is best suited to his style. And I'm very surprised at his decision. Trap has selected Alter Zim's Stronghold, the largest map in the map pool. And when we return, can viOLet close it out and have a rematch against his teammate? Or is Pult going to have some nexuses to snipe in the final? We'll find out.
Until no more remain when I'm still me, like authentic hip-hop and rock to pop and radio and record companies kill me, try to force me to stray and obey. You got the gall to say, yo, how real could real be? You feel me? You will see.